Hi guys, so I'm gonna read part 2 of Tales of the Crypt number 20. So I didn't read all the issue last time. I'm gonna try to read. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read all the issue in this video or if I'm gonna do more parts. I'm not sure. But end of the search. The sun had already gone down behind the heavy jungle growth along both banks of the sluggish stream when Kennedy beached his flimsy boat and staggered ashore. 100 yards back from the swampy water's edge was a village he had never seen before, a primitive circle of weathered huts he hadn't known existed on this unmapped offshoot of the Orinoco River. But there was good reason as to why it had escaped his notice during all the time he had been managing the plantation. In his 15 years in the tropics, he had never before ventured so far into Javaro country. I don't know. I hope that's not like a slur or anything. But Kennedy was led to a ramshackle hut belonging to the village chief, and familiar with the manners of the people of the region, he gave only passing notice to the grim-faced natives who had escorted him here from his boat. Harley noticed the cold and appraising eyes that watched him settle on the sand floor opposite the chief. They don't like my being here, Kennedy thought to himself as he pretended to rearrange his belt, his fingers moving unobtrusively to make certain that his revolver was in its holster, just in case. They're an ugly-looking bunch, and they hate my barging into their village as much as I hate being here. But there's no choice. I got to find a clue to Drucker's whereabouts. In the language of the jungle people, Kennedy spoke, sometimes searching for words to express himself, sometimes in a surge of sound. Drucker, his plantation foreman, had disappeared a week before on an inspection trip, just vanished from sight as if swallowed up by the earth. He had come to find him, would pay anyone who knew where Drucker was. Had they seen a tall man with red hair, a man who had a flame-colored mustache? One of the guides rose from behind him, and in the ensuing silence, Kennedy watched him cross the hut into the door, watched the native's let foot as it passed momentarily over a grass mat and moved it several inches from its former resting place. There was an object hidden under the mat, and Kennedy braced himself, wondering if the chief and his grim-faced tribesmen realized he had seen it. Kennedy began to rise, groping for his gun, and his hand trembled as it touched the empty holster. They knew. They had watched his face when they had seen the object. And even as they began to close in on him from all sides of the hut, Kennedy was conscious of the shrunken human head there on the floor, underneath the grass mat that had been moved. The head with red looking so ludicrous over the shriveled skin. The head with the bushy flame-colored mustache. So his friend's head got cut off and got turned into a shrunken head. So I'm going to do the Crypt Keeper voice for this one. There were 4 of them, rich, spoiled, bored. They had all the money they had wanted. They had been everywhere and done everything. And so when someone suggested that they try the magic of the ancients, they brewed fatal caper. It was sheer boredom that made Marilyn Ambers buy the dusty old book in the dusty old bookstore. A book on magic? How wonderful! Please do not try any of the spells in it, miss. I've heard that. They actually work. Peter, do you see this? Isn't it just too ducky? Call up Jim and Winnie this instant. Invite them over. Why, what bosh. You don't take any stock in that junk, do you? Oh well, maybe it's better than sitting around listening to somebody's poems. That night in Jim Roberts' rooms, the 4 got together with shouts of laughter. Baby, it took me hours to get these things. Where'd you ever dream up all this, Marilyn? Toad's tongues, a lapwing's ear, the foot of a day-old bat. It gives me the creeps, but I love it, ha! We're all sick of everything. I thought we could try some magic spells, old spells worked by Cagliostro and D. They won't work, of course, but it'll be fun to try. First the hair of a baby mouse, the nails of a dog born dead, than the wing of a baby bat. Now tip of the ear and spit of tongue, moss from a dead man's grave, pinch of dust from a mummy case. Stir, stir, whisper, wards to touch the ear. Beltane, hogsbane, dog's tooth, rich as ruth. Ah, look! Oh my! What? What was it? I didn't see. Some monster, man. An awful thing. Help me. Marilyn, you all right? Marilyn, answer me! Loud in the dark room, Marilyn screams. Her hands beat up at something vast unseen. Her green-tinted face writhes eerily in stark terror. Yeah! Got to have light. Got to know what happened. Look, Marilyn's shoe and stocking. Whatever it was, it must have ripped her right out of them. Oh, Marilyn. Oh, my poor dear Marilyn. Let's get out of here. Call the police. Get help from somebody. Jim, no. Listen. We can get her back ourselves, old man. Relax. Maybe it's just a matter of another spell or something. I don't like this. Maybe I'm a sissy or something, but there's a lot of things like this that science has never explained. We'd better. Oh, Jim, darling, hush up. We've got to save Marilyn ourselves. Our fault, old man. Here, this thing looks like something, a seance, to speak to the dead. This is crazy. Why do we ever start this? Listen, keep your hands steady, Jim. Stop shaking, old man. Concentrate on Marilyn. Peter, please come to me. It's Marilyn. She's calling to me. Oh, my heaven, oh. Jim, give me a hand. Help me, something has a hold of me. Can't seem to fight it off. Jim, hold me. I'm so scared. Ah! He's gone too. Only his coat sleeve ripped off. Now I am going for the police. This has gone too far. No, not the police. I won't stay here alone, Jim. You and I, we can do it by a different spell. Winnie, you're crazy. Let go of me. Please, calm down. Listen to me. I won't let you go for the police. We started all this. We can finish it. But you must help me. Jim. All right. I'll do whatever I can. I guess she doesn't want him going to the police because they'll think that they murdered them or something. Maybe that's why, but anyway, I'm not sure, but help us look in the book. Do you hear? They're calling to us from over yonder, from somewhere beyond the grave. I don't like it, but I'll go through with it. Steady now. I'm going to read the spell. By the secrets of the Nine, by the swords of Samic and the Sphinx chariot, by the baptism of the 4 elements and the keys of 50 gates, I summon you, appear. Bring back those you have taken.
I come at your call, enchantress. I come.
Yeah! You! I'll save you!
Grrr.
Splat. Panting, sobbing, his world reeling around him, Jim Roberts stares at the gigantic thing that their spells have summoned up, sheer horror in his eyes. It got her. Got to fight by myself. Too weak. Can just about reach the phone. Goo! His nerves exacerbated, Jim collapses in a dead faint. He does not see the monstrous horror bend over him. Does not feel himself being lifted and carried. Jim opens his eyes to find himself reclining in a coffin, just as the gloating monster is shutting the heavy lid down on him. No, don't! With a thud, the coffin closes. He's hammering me in. Can hear the hammer, hitting the nails. Suffocate in here. Getting harder to breathe. All right, Pete, the joke's gone far enough. He looked half dead with fear in that coffin. Let's open it. Sure, right away. Boy, was he ever scared. Jim sure fell for all that mumble-jumbo. Wee! Oof, I can't get up, it's stuck. Pete, Jim will suffocate in there. Perhaps, besides, we took a body out to make room for him. We gotta put it back. Come on back to the car, we'll get some tools. You're next, mister, and you can rest assured I'm gonna bury you deep. It worked out perfectly. All those scenic effects, smoke and things. But you gotta get that coffin open. Peter, hurry! I am. Good grief. I don't want anything happening to Jim either, you know. We gotta work fast. Somebody's liable to find the dead body we took out of that coffin and carried away. Look, the coffin is gone. Don't remind me. My hands feel funny just at the thought of it. You don't suppose anyone was supposed to bury that coffin? This is horrible. Jim will be buried alive. No, no, we can stop that. Hurry. We have to find it. Not over here. Nobody here either. Winnie, did you see anybody digging a grave? No, no, but I don't. But we must find Jim. We have to. Half an hour later. Caretaker, did you just bury a coffin? Get, dig it up. You have to dig it up. The man in it isn't dead. What Winnie means is a joke. You know, you've got to open that coffin. I wouldn't open that coffin for all the gold in Fort Knox. I buried him plenty deep. That man died from leprosy. Anybody who touches a corpse will get it. And so they got leprosy. So that's, yeah. So well, there's no cure for it. So yeah, they're dead. They're screwed. But Art Rex's death. I think that's what that is. Rex's death. Good Lord, don't look at it, Miss Bennet. It's too horrible. Perhaps it was the fact that our childhood was miserable, our parents being poverty-stricken. Perhaps it was the fact that I, Janet Bennet, had remained unmarried and continued to live with my brother Gregory, thereby increasing his responsibilities. Whatever the reason, Greg had shut himself off from the world of study, to better himself, his life, and mine. Greg, you must get some sleep. Leave me alone, Cess, I'll be all right. His days occupied in his regular job, Greg sat up half through the night, poring over textbooks. I knew that such hard work, constant study, would have its effect. He grew pale, his eyes clouded. Greg, you must stop driving yourself. You will become ill. I am taking care of myself, Janet. Don't worry about me. But I could not help but worry. Greg's condition grew progressively worse. At last I could resist no longer. I begged Greg to let me call in our family doctor. All right, all right. Let the old coot come over and examine me, if it will make you any happier. Oh, yes, Greg. You have been looking rather bad lately. Dr. Wentworth examined Greg thoroughly, and after he had finished, he took me aside. There's nothing really wrong with him, Miss Bennet. He's working too hard. He eats hastily, reads too long, and worries. I will give you a prescription without the help. Thank you, doctor. I feel relieved. So prescription is probably cocaine or something. But Dr. Wentworth gave me the prescription and left. Greg insisted that the prescription be filled by a chemist in the neighborhood, an old man whose shop was too old-fashioned and devoid of glitter of the modern drugstore. As I entered the shop, yes, madam, what can I do for you? I'd like to fill this prescription. The old man took a slip of paper in his withered, bony hands and studied it for a moment. This prescription contains a rare drug. I hope I have some of it. If not, I'll have to order it. Well then, will you deliver it to me when you have it made up? That evening the medicine arrived, and I saw that Greg took it before dinner. There, does it taste bad? Rather tasteless. Not too bad, sis. I was careful to see that Greg took his medicine before every meal, and then one evening, Greg, you're not studying. I don't feel like it tonight, Janet. He began to pace the floor as if undecided what to do with himself, and then, I think I'll go out tonight, Janet. Taking a show. Don't wake up for me. Oh, all right, Greg. I rejoiced. At last, Greg had broken away for an evening of relaxation. I watched him as he sauntered down the street. I don't know what time he came in, but the next morning at breakfast his eyes gleamed. Oh, Greg, you look so well. And I feel it too. I had a grand time last night, met some old college chums. That night Greg went out again, and again the next night. He was a changed man. He became a lover of pleasure, a hunter of restaurants and gay places. I was happy, and yet, although I knew not why, I was frightened. Why do you look at me so strangely, sis? What do you see? I don't know, Greg. The days went by, and Greg continued to take his medicine, renewing the prescription from the old chemist when it ran out. One morning, Greg, good Lord! Wait, what, did you say something, sis? His eyes followed my stare. A finger, the little finger of his right hand, was all wrinkled and withered. It looked like it was rotting away. Greg quickly wrapped the horrible-looking digit in his handkerchief and stammered. I burned it last night. Let me bandage it for you, Greg. Horror flooded into Greg's eyes. He jumped up, drew away from my outstretched hands. No, I'll do it up myself. Leave me be. Why, Greg? That night, after Greg went out, I called Dr. Wentworth, but he had gone out of town. He would not be back till next morning. I sat staring out of the window, and about midnight I was awakened by the key of a lock. Greg, what happened to your hand? I cut it. Why do you pry? I cannot describe the fear that crept into my heart as Greg snapped at me. There was a strange look in his eyes, a look I had never seen before. I am going to my room. Bring my breakfast tray up in the morning and leave it at the door. The next morning I followed Greg's instructions, leaving his tray. Then I rushed over to see Dr. Wentworth. My dear, you say he still takes the stuff? Yes, regularly. Well, where does he have the prescription filled? At the old chemist's on Broome Street. Dr. Wentworth got his coat, and we hurried to the old-fashioned chemist shop. The old man greeted us, and the doctor proceeded to ask him some questions. Oh, yes, Mr. Bennet has been in regularly to fill that prescription. Contains a rare drug, which I'll have to order now. I only had a little. Had it a long time, too. Let me see the drug you used, sir. The old man went to the back and returned with a musty canister, which he pried open for the doctor. Phew, what is this? This is not what I prescribed. Oh, yes, I see the label is right. But I tell you, this is not the drug. I've had it made for some time. Maybe a few years. I don't know what to say. The doctor took the canister and left. Dr. Wentworth, I should like to know what my brother's been taking for the past month or so. Frankly, Miss Bennet, I do not know. I shall have it analyzed, but I have a feeling that this goes beyond the realm of chemistry and medical science. That evening, as my brother Greg did not go out as usual, he came down from his room and announced, I have had my little fling, but now it is over. I am going back to my books. I do not want to be disturbed. I shall remain in my room. My meals will be sent up and left outside. Is that clear? Yes, Greg. Greg went back to his room, and the next morning, when I placed his breakfast tray before the door, Greg, breakfast! Leave it and go. I started downstairs and then remembered something I wanted from my bedroom. As I started back, You're spying on me. I don't want you spying on me. Greg, your arms, they're all bandaged. I rushed to him, but he picked up his tray and slammed the door, locking it. Oh, Greg. Greg. I went downstairs and called the doctor. Any news, doctor? I've sent it off, Miss Bennet. Will be about a week before we know. When I did not see Greg for several days, I called Dr. Wentworth again, and told him of Greg's wrinkled, rotten finger, his bandaged hand, and his bandaged arms. I have not heard from the laboratory yet, Miss Bennet, but I think I'd better come over. Yes, doctor. Dr. Wentworth arrived and went upstairs. I heard him knock and go in. After a while he came downstairs. There was an unutterable horror in his eyes. He gulped, steadying himself by grasping the banister. I have seen him. I have examined him, and I am in my senses. I have dealt with death all my life, but nothing like this. No. He covered his face with his hands, as if to shut out a horrid sight. Then he turned. Do not send for me again, Miss Bennet. I can do nothing in this house. But doctor. The next day, as I was crossing the street in front of the house, I happened to gaze up at Greg's window. What? Oh, gasp! The blind was being drawn back, not by a hand, but by a rotten stump. A beast paw, shapeless, horrible, and behind it 2 eyes of burning flame glared at me amidst something as formless, as ghastly as the rotting paw. I called Dr. Wentworth as soon as I got into the house, and although at first he refused, his frightened tears finally persuaded him to come. We sat down in the sitting room. Please, doctor, you must tell me what is wrong with Greg. I'm afraid, Miss Bennet, that this whole episode is most unnatural. There are forces involved here, supernatural forces, that we today know little about. The chemist I sent the drug to was unable to analyze it. Its chemical composition was unknown to him, although the results of the tests showed that it was similar in action to the digestive enzymes in the human body. Your brother is being digested alive. Eek! Something wet had fallen on my hand. I looked up. The ceiling was black and dripping. That's Greg's room up there. So soon. So soon. Stay here. Dr. Wentworth grabbed his walking cane and hastened up to the stairs. Ignoring his orders to remain in the sitting room, I followed. As he broke down the door, there burst forth a fearful scream. Not a human voice, but more like that of an animal. There it is, in the corner. Oh, no! There upon the floor was a dark, putrid mass, seething, neither liquid nor solid. Bubbling, and out of the midst shone 2 burning points like eyes. As the thing lunged for us, Dr. Wentworth, tears in his eyes, struck at it with his cane, again and again, until it lived no more. The end. And this is the final story. In the spring, a young man's fancy lightly turns to thoughts of impending doom. Love Mike, would you look at this? Why in the world did I draw this face? I didn't even realize I was doing it. Funny, the expression is one of extreme fear. Sure is strange. Must have been daydreaming. My mind was a million miles away. But why on such a lovely day would I draw such a horrified face? Oh well, no use worrying about it. Gosh, it's a swell day. Too nice a day to work. I think I'll take a walk. Sometime later. Does a person good to get some clean fresh air? Sunshine? I walked a good 5 miles and I don't feel a bit tired. Yes, sir, nothing like the great outdoors. Nature sure is wonderful. You don't have to be an artist to appreciate it. Say, what's that noise? Sounds like someone's banging or hammering on something. Oh, over there, a house. Alex Corvoda. Gravestones. Nice, cheerful occupation. Sounds like that noise is coming from around in the back. Clank, clank. Yes, I was right. There he is, working on a gravestone. These must be samples of his work. Nice design. He's making so much noise he doesn't know I'm here. Well, the man knows his stuff. He's good. What's he working on now? Clank. Let's see. Here lies Theodore J. Warren. Why, that's my name. Born April 25th, 1922. Holy smoke, I want a closer look at that gravestone. Born April 25th, 1922. Died June 9th, 1950. Hey! Good Lord, this is fantastic. Your face. You are the man I drew. What's going on? Am I dreaming? Calm down, mister. Take it easy. What's the matter? The headstone. That's my name and my date of birth. What made you put my name and birth date on this thing? Your name? That's quite a coincidence. But don't worry, mister. This is just a sample of what I'm doing. To show people what kind of work I do. Maybe so. But you have my date of death as June 9th, 1950. That's today. And then there's that picture I drew. There isn't anything to get excited about. I just put today's date because I'm going to finish it today. Like an artist dates his canvas when he finishes a painting. What's that you said about a picture? Here, look at this. Is this a drawing of you, or isn't it? Well, I'll be darned. Sure, it is me, all right. You didn't make me look any too happy, didn't you? There's more than that this is just a coincidence. I don't know what it means, but it's like an omen or something. But bosh, I admit it's odd, all right. but I don't believe in such a thing as fate or anything like that. Say, come on in the house. My wife would like to see this picture. The oddest thing just happened, dear. Ted! What, Ellen? You two know each other? Why, yes, Mr. Cordova. Your wife and I were good friends years ago. Yes, very good friends. It's grand to see you again, Ted. You must stay for dinner. We can talk about old times. Why, Ellen, I don't think ought to intrude, I mean. Nonsense, Alex. Would Alex would love to have you stay, wouldn't you, dear? Why, yes, of course. Do stay, Mr. Warden. After after dinner. Ah, Ellen, that meal was superb. You truly are a culinary genius. I don't know you were such a good cook. I'm happy to cook for you, Ted. You were always appreciative of my talents. He's jealous of her or him. Ellen, please, you're embarrassing our guest. Oh, keep quiet, you nincompoop. I don't even know why I bother to answer you. You're so stupid. Now, Ellen, let's not argue. We have company, remember? I said shut up. Why can't you be nice like Ted here for a change? Honestly, I don't know whatever possessed me to marry a fool like you. Now, see here. About all I can take. Look at you, a miserable wench. Or wrench. Wretch. You'll never be anything but what you are, a dumb gravestone cutter. Ted's a success. He has money. He's young, handsome, exciting. You're none of those things. I've had enough. I'm going out to my workshop. There are some things I want to do. Go ahead, run, you spineless simpleton. For all I care, I can never go out and... You can go out and never come back. Actually, this guy looks like Hitler. Yeah, he looks a lot like Hitler, except he's bald. That's kind of weird. But, oh, that man. He aggravates me to death. I can't stand him anymore. Especially since I met you again, Teddy. Ellen, perhaps I'd better leave. No, Ted, don't go. Alex won't be back for hours. And we have to talk about old times, remember? Yes, but... Oh, there's no use kidding myself, Ellen. I'm glad to see you again, but you're married. Forget about Alex, Ted. Just think of you and me. It's been a long time. But you haven't forgotten, have you, Ted? You couldn't forget me. No, I haven't forgotten those nights. Your kisses. I was crazy to marry Alex. Known all along that it was you I wanted. And you want me too. I can see it in your eyes. It's not too late. We can still be together. Kiss me, Ted. Kiss me hard. Ellen, it's not right. Your husband. Kiss me. Oh, Ellen. You got a hammer. Alex! What happened? So there's a police officer. What happened? Alex Cordova just killed some guy. Caught him with Mrs. Cordova. Beat him to a pulp. And he's being executed. And here lies Theodore J. Warren. Died April 25th, 1922. Died June 9th, 1950. And that's the end of that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.